Another language. Why is it so important? Quand j'étais petite, je pensais qu'une deuxième langue allait être un gros désavantage. Mais maintenant, après toutes mes recherches, je me suis rendu compte que j'avais tort, qu'une deuxième langue peut faire une grande différence dans ma vie. I'm guessing that not many of you understood what I just said. Maybe one or two of you did. If you did, you would have known that it was French for. When I was small, I thought that a second language was going to be a big disadvantage. But now, after all my research, I've realised that I was wrong, that a second language can make a big difference to my life. I am bilingual. This means that I speak two languages. I was born in the French-speaking part of Canada, Quebec, and lived there for 6 years before I moved to London. I went to school in French, I spoke to my friends in French, I was learning to read and write in French. It was a big change for me to move to a country where they spoke a completely different language. I mean, I spoke in English to my dad at home, but I hadn't done any grammar or learned any English phonics. I thought that I was going to be really bad at English and spellings, and that scared me. I also thought that given I had two languages, I wouldn't be able to be very good at either of them. But actually, it turns out that I love English. Maybe not so much spellings. Now that I've been in an English-speaking school for 5 years, I feel that I'm losing my French, and I don't want that either, because I know the good things that a second language can do for you. That's what I want to talk to you about today, why speaking another language is such a good thing and how it's never too late to learn. So, how many of you speak more than one language? I'm guessing quite a lot. It's quite hard to tell, but it's estimated that about half of the world's population speaks more than one language. In some countries, like India, most people speak 3 or more languages. And in Luxembourg, children learn 3 languages at school: Luxembourgish, German, and French. They usually also learn English, so in total that's 4 different languages. So why is being able to speak more than one language a good thing? As an individual, it can be a huge bonus in your life. Travel-wise, it means that you'll be able to speak the language of the country you're visiting, instead of using Google Translate and useless hand signals that nobody understands. It also means that you'll be able to learn more about different cultures because you'll be able to speak to the locals. Having another language also means that you can apply for a wider range of jobs because you can speak to more people and you can work in different countries. 2 American economists looked into this, and what they found out was that in the States, the people who speak another language earn an average of 2% more than the monolinguals. This may not sound like a lot in the short term, but on an average salary of $45,000 a year, that gives you an extra $65,000 extra in your bank account when you retire. So speaking another language can be good for your bank balance, but it can also be great for your brain. Bilinguals tend to be better at focusing on the stuff that's important and forgetting about the stuff that's not, because they're used to switching between 2 different languages. Researchers from York University in Canada found out that bilingual children are better at switching between 2 different tasks on a computer, no matter what 2 languages they speak. The same researchers from York University did a test on monolingual and bilingual adults. They asked these adults to drive on a driving simulator while answering questions on a hands-free mobile phone. Although all the drivers' driving got worse, the bilinguals' driving was definitely a lot better. Don't try this in real life though, even if you are bilingual. Being bilingual can also boost your school results. 2 researchers from Oxford University looked into this, and what they found out was that children who learn English as their second language and become fluent in it score higher in their tests at the ages of 7, 11, and GCSE level in both English and in maths. So, being bilingual comes with big cognitive advantages. But even better than that, it can make you healthier. For example, bilingualism delays the beginning of the symptoms of dementia. Dementia is a decline of memory, language, and problem-solving skills that can happen when you grow old. A study from scientists at York University have looked into the benefits of having a second language on the symptoms of dementia in adults. After looking at lots of patients, they found out that the bilingual patients started showing the first symptoms of dementia 4 years later than the bilinguals, no matter how smart they were or what their job was. So it's clear that there are lots of different advantages to having a second language. But you may be thinking that you can't benefit from these advantages if you didn't learn your second language when you were small. But you'd be wrong, because it's never too late to learn another language. I've been telling you all these things because it doesn't matter whether you learn the second language when you're a baby, or you learn it later on in your life. It all counts. A group of scientists from the University of Edinburgh studied a group of people who were born in the year 1936, who did lots of cognitive tests when they were 11. They were all monolingual at the time. The same group were then tracked down, now 153 of them, in their 70s, and were asked to do the same cognitive tests. Those who had learned another language scored higher in the general intelligence and reading tests. This study shows that you don't have to be fluent in a second language before adulthood. Speaking another language is like what exercise is to the body. It keeps your brain healthy and fit. So now that I've told you all the advantages about it, I hope that I've inspired you to learn another language. I have decided to work to improve my French, but I'm also going to learn a third language. I'm planning to learn Spanish at secondary school, and maybe I'll throw in German or Chinese into the mix. Maybe I'll become a travel agent or an interpreter. But now I know that time spent learning a new language is time well spent. Merci d'écouter ma présentation. Bonne chance avec ta nouvelle langue.